Hi, I'm Santrikanthan, Chief Executive of ShelterBox, and I'm just sending this message of thanks to the Mark Benevolent Fund for all your support since 2010 that's made our work possible. 2023 in particular has been one of our biggest years in terms of responses, and of course that's built upon tragedy like the Turkey-Syria earthquake, where the Mark Benevolent Fund was so generous in supporting so many families, many with children, who were left without shelter, literally overnight. But it's not the only response, of course. There are less well-known responses to huge displacement in Sudan, with people fleeing in their tens of thousands to Chad, to the Morocco earthquake that followed events in Syria and Turkey, and of course, longer-running responses in the Sahel region, this area of Africa between the desert of the Sahara and sub-Saharan Africa that is a fault line for conflict and displacement, where ShelterBox has been working in places like Minowao Camp in Cameroon, where we are the only providers of shelter to people arriving daily, not knowing when, if ever, they'll be able to return home. So impact has been our watchword, and that's only made possible by the generosity of donors like the Mark Benevolent Fund. So it's vital that we continue to find ways to partner, but it's also an opportunity for ShelterBox to do things differently. Increasingly, we're doing more stock pre-positioning because we know it's a question of when, not if, the next disaster is going to occur. So we have stock pre-positioned in Panama, in Dubai, in Belgium, in Philippines, in Kuala Lumpur, and hopefully soon in Africa as well, so that we can respond that much faster when events occur. We're also conscious that with climate crisis increasingly playing a role in creating unpredictable weather patterns, more severe disasters more frequently, that we've got a role to play in trying to remove plastics from our kits. So you'll be hearing more about our work to use recyclables in our kits to still provide the essentials to families to help them recover and rebuild their lives, but also to reduce our impact on the environment. And all of that is made possible by partners like the Mark Benevolent Fund. I also want to pause to talk a little bit about our work in Gaza, where you've been so generous in supporting what is going to be a very challenging response. We have an area that's actually smaller than East London, where over 1.8 million people, on last counting, are displaced. And by displaced, I mean they are exposed to the elements. The Middle East can get very cold in winter, just like in the UK. And children are facing exposure, disease, lack of food, water, and of course shelter. But thanks to your support, we're partnering to provide the essentials that come with shelter. So tarpaulins, nappies, household items, and solar lights, anything that can provide a layer of protection from the elements while people wait for conflict to end and for people to return to their homes. The impact is going to be immeasurable. It's going to provide what essentially is so difficult to provide in conflict zones, which is shelter, and what is often overlooked. So it is vital that we continue to work there. We will stay for as long as emergency shelter is needed. And we'll also be looking to what's on the horizon. We have floods consuming so much of Central and Eastern Africa, and our team are on the lookout to see where our aid might be needed. And of course, as with every year, we face disasters, hurricanes, typhoons, earthquakes, wherever they might occur. And the wonderful thing about ShelterBox, thanks to your support, is that there isn't anywhere that's out of bounds, anywhere that we won't work. And our model is about being timely, about being quality driven, and also providing what is essentially often overlooked, which is emergency shelter. So thank you for your support, but also thank you for sharing our mission, which is to leave no one without shelter after disaster.